Welcome back to Let's Play Homesick. Last time we hunted for letters. This time we hunt for more letters. I think that's the P block I've been looking for. To remind myself, hey, that's what G looks like. I'm gonna look behind stuff, because I just know, with my luck, there's gonna be one hidden behind a door or something. ABC. I really should have written down a list of all the ones I found. I know I'm missing G. Oh, come on. You can't just let me walk around that table. That block is incorrect. That block shall now be Z. How better to deal with a mistaken block. I know I'm missing G. And then there's a block that's Z that shouldn't be Z, but I won't know until I happen to find. Trying to use the E key to open doors again. Force of habit. Ah, no! Oh, good. Accidentally bump the door and lock myself in. Chair is smiling at me. Ah! There's that G block. There's one letter missing. Dear Miss Riggins, this letter is in response. That's a Q. The one in that room that is a Z should be a Q. So I guess I'm going to loop back to the first area of the game and begin reading. Read all the things. Read them all. Read them all! I'm assuming you're supposed to start with the starting area, so yeah. I can't remember which way I started in now. It was this way, okay. Back to the first area, since we can read things now. Leave the hall light on. Management. Yes, we have read that. Peaceful Drift. A collection of poems about sleep and renewal by Fritz Moyer. It's not letting me read any further. I'm a cat and you're not by Goblin. Introduction to the Science of Sleep. I thought there was more pages to these things before. That's not any more legible than it was to start with. I thought there was a readable page. Oh, there we go. Dear Tosh, thank you so much for your letter. It was so nice to have a piece of you here with me as I try to get comfortable in my new place. I've been babysitting a little boy that lives on my floor. He reminds me so much of you as a little kid. We have been playing with blocks with letters on them, just like the ones you used to have. My trip... Just making sure that V was proper. My trip was amazing. The months went by very fast. It took me a long time to find the village. It was in an even more remote location than I had expected. They really are creating something new, a refuge from this crazy world. They're generating their own power with solar panels and wind turbines, and they're growing all of their own food. There are fruits, vegetables, herbs, and grains growing all over the place in every spare inch of soil, even on rooftops and on the sides of dwellings. The most amazing thing was how hopeful everyone was. It felt so safe, and for the first time since we were kids, I felt hopeful for a better future. Wish I could have stayed there longer, but I hope that the money I earn from this new job will help us buy land so that we can start a new village together. Love, your sister, Sabine. Sabine. It's not a name you see very often, but it's a very pretty name. Note. We're separated now, as she said, but I still have years of memories of her, memories of good times past. I still dream of her every night, but where the dreams end and the memories begin sinks to the abyss of everyday obscurity. Now only a few things still linger as a reminder that some part of it was real. The hardest part is letting go, letting the memories blend together into the dreams. The saddest part is losing the details as the memories become only stories. It's like losing years of yourself, of myself, of person's self, of whoever's writing. She's out there somewhere. Is she thinking of me like I am thinking of her? I only wish I could understand why I wasn't enough. Where did things go wrong? It was such a gradual decay, I cannot pinpoint where things changed. I know that we were happy together. I loved you. I thought you loved me. I don't know how to feel good again when the person who knew me the most, more than anyone else, more than I know myself, can no longer stand to be with me. What is with the blinding light? Book. The History of Sab. Book. Oh no, he's turned into a chicken. Dear Mr. and Mrs. Willow, we have received your completed application to adopt a child, and we have received confirmation from the inspector that you passed your interview and background check. Congratulations! There's a waiting list of other applicants, and your application will be added to the queue. The average wait time is 6 to 9 months. On behalf of the agency, I thank you for wanting to open up your home to care for a child in need. Please contact my office if you have any questions. Regards, Gertrude Goldman, social worker. Dear Gertrude, thank you for your letter telling us the good news that our application has been received. We are very excited to become parents. We are very much looking forward to when there is a child ready for us. Sincerely, the Willows. Why didn't they send the letter? Did something happen? Looks like they had a room all set up for a child. Childhood development and psychology. I really hope that it's not the characters like a crazed psychopath that killed everyone. Got enough of that from Amnesia. Whoops. To my love, happy anniversary. These past few years together have been a dream come true. I'm so excited to get to have a family with you. I know things have been hard with our jobs here, but I know together we can do anything, and we can even create a loving home in this hard place. So many children have been orphaned because of the dangerous conditions and violence in the region. And I know that we can provide a loving home so that at least one of these children will no longer be alone in this scary world. I know some of our family members don't support our decision, but we have to do what is in our hearts. There may be stories of adoption that result in heartbreak, but there are many more stories filled with smiles and happiness. I love you and am excited about this next exciting chapter of our lives together. Elliot Willow. Eesh. Don't read so fast, you stumble everywhere. To our dearest son, we received your recent letter telling us the news that you and your wife plan... To our dearest son, we received your letter telling us the news that you and your wife planned on adopting. This is from the family. While we are happy that you want to have a family, we don't think it is a good idea to adopt. You won't know this child's background or genetics. Our family has superior genes, and we would be sad that the child won't look like you. There are so many stories of adopted children that end up abandoning their adopted parents. Don't do this. Love your parents. Yeesh. Finding Home, a memoir about my adopted family. And even if you turn out to be adopted, that doesn't make you any less the person's family. You might want to seek out your genetic roots, but It's not like they're just gonna up and forget you exist, or they shouldn't. If they do, then that's their fault. Their problem. Their bad decision making, whatever you want to call it. Oh yay, we can finally read these random newspaper clippings. Wasn't there one here? Open. Nope. Open. Be careful, as sometimes the filing cabinets will tip over if the top drawer is open and the bottom drawer is empty. The top drawer lock on all filing cabinets uses the same formula. I tried to make it easy to remember. The formula is 00 followed by the drawer's number. Here are instructions to reset the combination. Turn the shackle 90 degrees so notch on shackle is aligned with notch on lock body. Press and hold the shackle down. Set the dials to your own combination by lining up middle of numbers with red stripe. Lift and return the shackle to closed position. Scramble the dials to lock. Okay then. There's nothing to see on the photos that wasn't already visible. New Times, energy boom shows no signs of slowing down. The District Energy Commission released a statement showing energy production is at an all-time high with projections of increased production throughout the coming year. Stocks in the mining, energy production, and energy transmission industries are similarly high. Several environmental and community organizations, however, continue to express warnings that the Energy Commission should shift energy production to more renewable and less hazardous sources. Assume any bit of information will be relevant. New cancer risk study. Energy workers excluded. The Regional Health Organization is conducting a study of cancer risks for region residents in response to escalating fears about the possible negative impacts from industrial operations in the area. Director of the study, Dr. Nigelis Cater, notes that this study focuses only on residential risk. The agency has decided to exclude energy workers. In a letter to the health organization, local health advocates criticize this omission, arguing that by leaving out the risks for energy workers, the study will underestimate the actual risk posed by industrial operations. There's a mouthful. Contains the case names and settlement amounts for cases involving personal or property injury due to pollution or violation of environmental or safety laws settled within the past year. All of these figures are confidential and have not been disclosed to the public. Safe water. Energy to fight for clean air. Michael Matz. Garrett Stone. People for the protection of tribal lands. Fossil oil. They're losing a lot of money there. I'm glad there were not blocks for numbers. That would have been weird. Explosion may be worse than previously estimated. The explosion at the Northwest Power Plant earlier this month may have been worse than previously estimated. The explosion, which is thought to have killed 19 workers and injured dozens more, was caused by a malfunctioning valve in the cooling tower. New reports indicate there were additional workers killed in the blast that are being uncovered in the ongoing reconstruction of the towers. How do you lose track of how many workers you have? How many of you didn't show up for work the next day? Maybe we should look into this. And that's a shortcut to the next area, but I'm going to walk through the standard route, root-a-loot boot, into the basketball court, where there was nothing to read anyway. I like that there's one area where there's specifically a very different style, where you've got to kind of logic your way through it. Key. Door has no key. The door has a bucket. Just hang the bucket on the door and walk away. This door has been bucketed. That would be fairly strange, but I am fairly strange, so meh. Okay, we're caught back up. Now to read everything on the shelf. At least the readable books are a slightly different color. The Circus of Sands. Oh, good gracious. Ooh, do I really want to read all this? Why not? They always come in handy. What else would she need? She moved across the darkened room, taking care not to make enough noise to rouse Mummy, and opened her glow-in-the-dark star-adorned toy box. Inside, the assorted items, most of which weren't actually toys but broken items that she could scavenge for parts, were organized into neat lines based upon their usefulness, reusability, and in the case of the few actual children's toys she had decided to keep, plausibility. At the far side of the toy box lay a completely unplayed with horse. It was purple, as well as displaying some extremely unnatural eyelashes and an anatomically impossible smile. The horse had bright blue hair. Originally, the toy had come with a small brush that allowed you to groom it at your leisure. This was no longer anywhere to be found, as Jessica had long since used it to form an integral part of a makeshift dynamo presently residing within Clicks. Clicks was replacing the Uber Metronome 3000X nannying droid, which had broken after being struck with a golf ball, Jessica's golf ball. Unlike the Metronome, which was state-of-the-art, Clicks was simply a state. She had for a body an antique damaged flocked writing table on 4 heavy brass casters. Her CPU was taped to the top of the desk with duct tape. The user interface was an arcane typewriter. It was awful, like a hamster torture chamber. It had apparently pointless buttons, levers, screwy things, and things for which there are neither nouns nor simple noun phrases to describe them. And Clicks's arms were 2 crane-like contraptions that moved with all the finesse of an epileptic jackhammer. Ouch. For hands, it wielded a near blunt pair of fabric scissors and a set of barbecue tongs that didn't quite close. Jessica picked up the unrealistic proportioned toy horse and examined it. She then reached back in the box and withdrew a coil of copper wire, an electrical circuit board, some solder, a magnifying glass, and some 3-pronged tweezers. Closing the lid of the toy box, she made her way back over towards the dim lights of her window. After laying out her hoard on the windowsill, she turned and looked at Clicks, who stood motionless in the corner of her room. "Clicks," she whispered as loudly as she dared. No reply. "Clicks! Wake up, Clicks!" The robot continued to do nothing, and did it with style. Jessica knew she would have to try something a bit more intelligent to get Clicks' attention, so she pulled a few pieces of clothing from her washing basket and scattered them over the floor untidily. "What a mess," she said quietly and slyly shaking her head. Clicks was assembled to care. She was assembled to like children and to want to keep the nest. Her arms started to wave about, and slowly but surely she started to glide across the bedroom floor, clumsily scooping the garments up and depositing them back in the washing basket. Jessica, on the other hand, was methodically picking out each item that Clicks recovered and redistributing them around the room, till Clicks' submissiveness snapped. "Jessica, behave yourself this instant." Now that Clicks was finally working, Jessica's job was done. She stopped withdrawing her used garments from the washing basket, walked over to Clicks, and gave her a big hug around one of the legs. "You've got to be shh," she said. "Mummy is asleep." This put Clicks into quiet mode, where instead of talking, she would type out her responses onto a sheet of paper. Unfortunately, the clicking of her ancient keys, the squeak of the spool, and the rattle of her type bars was actually louder than her voice modulator, but at least she was trying. "I'll be good and tidy up, Clicks," whispered Jessica, "but you have to get me a lemon from the kitchen." "Okay, Jessica," read the paper coming out of the roll, and Clicks began to trundle towards the door, brass caster squeaking. "Stop!" hissed Jessica. Clicks did so abruptly and loudly. "You have to be quiet, please," Jessica whispered. "Okay, Jessica." The loyal robot set off again, about a decibel quieter than before, but what's 1 decibel in 100? Jessica went back to looking at the selection of components on the windowsill when there occurred a deafening sound. It was either a skip full of cutlery being swept down a mountainside by a swarm of howler monkeys riding on boulders, or Clicks carefully descending the stairs. Okay, that was interesting, but not exactly helpful to the plot here. There's so many of these to read. I'm going to go ahead and pause here, though, and I will see you next time where we read Case Journal 27. See you next time.